Hello and welcome to Nightline. I'm Raymond Goh. News making the headlines. Lynas is not Chernobyl, then there's no danger, says Prime Minister. And over 60 dead, hundreds more injured in deadliest Kabul attack in months. Good to have you with us. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has dismissed criticism against Lynas's operations in Malaysia, saying that the rare earth processing plant is not Chernobyl. Experts, he said, have inspected the Lynas Malaysia Sdn Bhd plant in Gebeng, Kuantan, and established that it poses no danger.
The expert says there is no danger. Tetapi we are insisting that whatever the expert says, we insist there is danger. That is very difficult for the government to decide, because popular view is one thing, experts' view is another thing. Do you go according to popular view or do you go according to experts? If you go according to popular view, there is nothing we can do, because every time we propose to do something, there will be some people who are against it.
Tun Dr. Mahathir said this at a press conference after opening the 2019 World Statistics Congress in Kuala Lumpur on Sunday. He said people would always have something to disagree about and said the government could not always take the popular view. He stressed that experts have said there was no great danger to the radioactive material, ensuring that its waste would be dispersed accordingly. On Thursday, Australian rare earths company Lynas Corporation's operation permit was renewed for another 6 months, with 3 conditions imposed on them. In Pahang, several hundred people gathered for an anti-Lynas rally in Taman Gelora, Kuantan on Sunday, organised by the group Save Malaysia Stop Lynas. Police, however, will be calling up the organisers for breaching provisions of the Peaceful Assembly Act. Kuantan Police Chief ACP Muhammad Noor Yusof Ali said he was informed that the rally had not received consent from the owner of Taman Gelora. He said the matter was confirmed by the Kuantan Municipal Council MPK President Dato' Hamdan Hussein on Saturday, although he confirmed that MPK had received a request from the organisers to hold the rally. ACP Muhammad Noor said a police report will be filed to enable an investigation and that appropriate action will be taken according to the law, after referring to the state police chief. The 2-hour rally, which started at 7:30 a.m., only attracted about 300 people, with most of them carrying banners voicing objections to the operation of Lynas Malaysia Sdn Bhd's rare earth processing plant in Gebeng. Also present were Bentong MP Wong Tak and 2 Pahang State Assemblymen Lee Chien Chung and Sim Chong Siang.
Jadi kita pun ambil nasihat Tun dan juga ambil nasihat orang-orang yang cintakan alam sekitar. Jadi kita tidak jadi bakar. Tapi kita menunjukkan kemarahan kita, kita koyak janji Pakatan Harapan itu. Okey, sebab itu tadi saya tunjukkan bagaimana kita koyak kan. Itu hanya satu aksi simbolik.
Tan added they were against the way the radioactive waste generated at Lynas was being handled and feared for the safety of nearby residents and workers. The police will continue to investigate controversial Muslim preacher Dr. Zakir Naik and whether he is causing any racial tension in the country. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has said it was quite clear that Dr. Zakir wants to participate in racial politics.
It is quite clear that he wants to participate in racial politics in Malaysia. Now he's stirring up racial feeling, and that is bad. So because of that, I think the police will have to investigate whether it's causing tension or not. Obviously it is. So whatever action that we take will be in accordance with the law.
Tun Dr. Mahathir spoke to reporters after opening the 2019 World Statistics Congress in Kuala Lumpur on Sunday. Commenting further, he said Dr. Zakir, as a permanent resident of this country, could not participate in politics. The Prime Minister also assured that action be taken against Dr. Zakir will be in accordance to the rule of law.
The superpower, with the help of Allah.
Malaysia will continue to be vigilant despite stronger gross domestic product growth recorded for the second quarter this year. Economic Affairs Minister Dato Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali pointed out the GDP data also indicated that Malaysia's economy remained resilient despite being exposed to global uncertainties.
Bucking the regional trend during the second quarter of 2019, the economy experienced outstanding growth of 4.9%, supported by a steady domestic demand, particularly private consumption, and a strong recovery in the production of mining and quarrying sector. Nevertheless, we remain vigilant against any headwinds to come and will maintain fiscal discipline even as we do our best to spur growth. Statistician of Malaysia.
Dato Sri Azmin said this in his welcoming speech at the opening of the 62nd International Statistical Institute's World Statistics Congress on Sunday. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad graced the event and delivered a keynote address. Dato Sri Azmin also highlighted that sound, relevant and timely statistics pave the way for policies and decision formulation, as well as guide the government to realign policies that are misguided or misconceived. It is up to the family of Nora Ann Quarin to decide for a second post-mortem on the remains of the Irish girl in their home country. In saying so, Deputy Health Minister Dr. Lee Boon Chye also expressed confidence that Malaysian pathologists who conducted the post-mortem had done their best in conducting the case.
Itu terpulang kepada mereka lah, itu hak mereka untuk buat post-mortem kedua, itu memang hak mereka untuk buat. Yang tahu saya mereka telah ambil mayat dan itu terpulang kepada mereka untuk buat siasatan yang selanjutnya.
Dr. Lee said this to reporters after visiting the Sri Maha Mariamman Temple in Kampung Dusun Bertam in Ipoh, Perak on Sunday. An international news daily had recently reported that Nora Ann's parents were considering to request for a second post-mortem to be conducted. The report said Mieb, 45, and Sebastian, 47, wanted to be sure pathologists did not miss any evidence on the 15-year-old's death in Malaysia. If they do decide on a second post-mortem, it could be held in Britain or France, where her father is from and where police investigation is ongoing. It was reported on Thursday that Nora's post-mortem examination results showed she died of starvation and stress. In the meantime, police will carry out a post-mortem on the search and rescue operation for Nora Ann after all investigations into the case were completed. Negeri Sembilan Police Chief Dato Muhammad Mat Yusof said this when asked whether Nora Ann's case had been closed as her body had been found. The special needs teenager of Franco-Irish parentage was found dead last Tuesday, 10 days after she was reported missing from the eco-resort where she and her family checked in on August 3rd for a 2-week holiday in Malaysia. The remains of 15-year-old Nora Ann were found in a ravine some 2.5 kilometers from the resort. 2 police reports were lodged at the Pasir Puteh Police Station and Sri Alam Police Headquarters on Sunday because of a new discovery of toxic waste in Pasir Gudang, Johor. More than 100 bags of factory waste, including suspected toxic substances, were found along a path near Sungai Daing in Kampung Perigi, Aceh 2 days ago. The discovery of the waste led to the latest pollution and alarmed more than 500 villagers as it smelled bad and made the river water turn murky and black. According to Kampung Perigi Aceh village head, Othman Adun, the latest waste was dumped inside bags and bottles and that there are about 20 factories close to the village. The bags and bottles reportedly bore 4 factory names. Local media reported the discovery of a new contamination area on Tuesday based on the toxic wastes found. The Department of Environment, the Pasir Gudang Municipal Council, the Department of Irrigation and Drainage, and the Johor Department of Fisheries have come down to review and take samples of the river water for investigation. The Agriculture and Agro-Based Industry Ministry is investigating claims that the approved permits or APs issued by the government for the import of a variety of food products are being offered for sale online. Its Minister Datuk Salahuddin Ayub said the ministry would take stern action if the APs granted to the holders were being traded through social media platforms.
Jika sekiranya AP itu disalahgunakan, maka tindakan tegas akan diambil kepada mereka. Saya bila keluar berita itu semalam telah minta supaya Datuk KSU untuk menyiasat perkara ini. Dan kita tak boleh biarkan. Saya akan mengambil tindakan tanggungjawab sepenuhnya untuk memastikan keluar AP itu tidak disalahgunakan.
He was speaking to reporters at the opening of Parit Amanah annual meeting in Sri Iskandar in Perak on Sunday. He added apart from agricultural produce, APs for flour and sugar were also being traded online. Recently, local newspapers reported AP holders for flour, poultry, meat, sugar and round cabbage were believed to have advertised the sale of the permits through a goods and services website. Elderly man wounded in explosion at home. This and more home stories when we come back. Welcome back. The Haze Situation enters its 18th day with Sri Aman Sarawak and Rompin Pahang registering very unhealthy air quality levels. As of 10 p.m. Sunday, the Air Pollutant Index or API readings for both places were recorded at 243 and 223 respectively. Miri, Sarawak continued to record an unhealthy level of an API reading of 114, while the rest of the country registered moderate air quality levels. API readings of between 0 and 50 are classified as good, 51 and 100 as moderate, 101 and 200 as unhealthy, 201 and 300 as very unhealthy, and above 301 as hazardous. The Meteorological Department has advised the public to avoid open burning and also to reduce outdoor activities. The public are also reminded to turn on their vehicle headlights while driving during hazy conditions and instances of reduced visibility. Meanwhile, the Fire and Rescue Department has identified 106 areas as hot spots that contributed to the haze problem in the country. Its Director General, Dato' Muhammad Hamdan Wahid, said, however, that all fires in the hotspots nationwide have been extinguished.
Kita percaya jerebu yang kita alami yang ada sekarang ini adalah kerana tiupan angin daripada Sumatera disebabkan oleh kebakaran hutan di sebelah Indonesia. Dan kita percaya bahawa selepas hujan turun di beberapa tempat, khususnya di kawasan Sarawak dan juga Lembah Kelang, kita dapati bahawa mungkin jumlah pembakaran terbuka ini dan juga kebakaran hutan ini akan menurun. Dan kita akan sentiasa memantau kerana kita ada hotspot tertentu yang kita telah kenal pasti. Sebagai contoh dalam Selangor, Pahang dan juga Perak. Di Sabah dan juga di Sarawak.
Commenting further, Dato' Muhammad assured that the department will continue to monitor the haze situation in Sarawak, which is the worst affected state in Malaysia. He said fire extinguishing efforts in Kuala Baram, Miri are also underway using aerial water bombing with the help of the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency. In Pulau Pinang, an elderly man suffered injuries to 80% of his body after an explosion at his home in Paya Trubong early on Sunday. The 8 a.m. incident on the 20th floor of Green Garden apartment on Jalan Paya Terubong also caused a wall to collapse and other damages around the premises. Authorities said 62-year-old Lee Kok Yeng had tried to light a cigarette in the living room before the explosion occurred. It is not yet clear what caused the explosion, but Paya Terubong Fire Station Chief Muzammil Muhammad Saleh did not rule out the possibility of a gas leak. Fortunately, Lee's pregnant daughter-in-law, son and grandchild, who were sleeping in one of the rooms in the house, escaped unhurt. The impact of the explosion had also caused a crack in the wall of an apartment unit next door. An investigation is underway to determine the cause of the blast and total amount of losses incurred. Madame Tussauds, the world's most famous wax museum, has long featured hundreds of the rich, famous and historic people, all immortalized in wax. Its museum in London alone attracts more than 2.5 million visitors every year, and there's a reason why. Every wax figure is made with such detail and precision, it's as if you're standing next to the actual person that they were modeled after. And the work behind it? Well, a team of world-renowned sculptors that were hired to imitate the same techniques that Madame Tussauds used more than 200 years ago, with each wax figure taking more than 350 hours to complete. Shafiqa Razali has the details.
Madame Tussauds Hong Kong has just released its latest attraction. I have a Korean/Hong Kong celebrity, Jackson Wang.
NTV7, what's up everyone? I'm Jackson Wang from China.
The quality of the wax figures is indisputable, all designed with great detail. The creative team behind the figures would select the celebrity or icon they want to work on and call them up to start the process.
We all come together, we take lots of measurements all the way around, so many photos, so many details, make sure the hair, the eyes, everything match exactly. And then there's many rounds of sculpting, revising, and checking in with the celebrity to make sure they're happy with the process.
It was a 7 to 8 hours process, but I enjoyed every second of it. You know, and the team, they were really professional.
The body part of the sculpture is supported by a steel frame, while the head, which is removable, is sculpted using clay from a plaster mold. After a framework is made, hot wax is poured into the hollow mold and cooled until a thick layer of wax hardens, strong enough for the plaster mold to be removed. Hand-painted acrylic eyeballs are then put in the eye sockets. Then about 10 layers of oil paint are used to create the correct skin tone, features and makeup, along with all the unique details of the person, such as tattoos, moles and beauty marks painted. Now the hardest part. Facial and head hair are dyed and styled to match exactly with the person's, and they are added to the wax model one strand at a time. Now what about their costumes and their poses?
We want input from our guests. We want to know what they want, you know, and when they see the wax figure, they're the ones that get really excited and know, like, oh, this person wore this in such and such movie, or this person wore this in a music video, or some really iconic moment. And then, of course, we also get input from the celebrity. You know, we want them to feel comfortable, we want them to feel confident, and, you know, we want them to really wear something, present themselves in a way that's really true to themselves.
After the tedious process of completing the wax figures, there is also the work of maintaining the sculptures on a daily basis.
At Madame Tussauds Hong Kong, we have a team of artists, and every day we have to check. They have to make sure the hair is right, make sure the costume is clean, you know, make sure, of course, you know, sometimes the guests are so excited to see the wax figure, maybe they get a little scratch on their face. So, you know, we have lots of tools, brushes, and ways to fix the scratches, check the color. Yeah, make sure before anyone comes, any guests arrive, you know, all the figures look perfect.
Jackson Wang's wax figure is the latest installation at Madame Tussauds Hong Kong. He also has his own augmented reality station where fans can get the chance to take a photo right next to him. The Hong Kong celebrity joins other new figures such as Pia Wurtzbach, Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande this year. According to the outlet's general manager Jenny Yu, the choices of figures in the museum are mainly to attract more visitors from Malaysia.
Malaysia and Hong Kong, we're actually not that far. The travel hour, and we also understand there's so many Malaysian people come to Hong Kong every year. And another data also showed that it's very limited people come to Hong Kong.
Among other attractions at the outlet include a selfie station that offers Instagrammable moments for visitors and where they can have a selfie of themselves specially printed on their coffee mug.
So you've seen the wax figures, you've seen the coffee machine that does selfies, but what you haven't seen here is my good friend Yayo Kusama. She has her own art gallery, and one more thing, illustrated figure of Lady Gaga.
Shafiqa Rezali for Nightline TV3.
3 Palestinians shot dead near Gaza Strip. The details after this breather. Onto the foreign front now. In Afghanistan, a Daesh suicide bomb attack ripped through a wedding party in Kabul, killing at least 63 people and wounding 182 others. Authorities said the suicide blast took place in the men's reception area of the Dubai City Wedding Hall in western Kabul. The venue was packed with party-goers and children when a suicide bomber blew himself up at about 10:40 p.m. local time. The bride and groom both survived the blast but lost family members, including 14 people on the bride's side. Meanwhile, President Ashraf Ghani has condemned the attack, describing it as barbaric, and blamed the Taliban for providing a platform to terrorists. The blast comes at a greatly uncertain time in Afghanistan as the United States and the Taliban near a deal to end a nearly 18-year war, which is America's longest conflict. At least 3 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli military in the north of the Gaza Strip, hours after 3 rockets were allegedly fired from the blockaded enclave. It is understood that they were shot by an Israeli military helicopter and a tank after they were spotted trying to infiltrate the security fence that separates Israel from the besieged Gaza Strip. To date, at least 305 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli fire in Gaza or the border area since the Palestinians have been staging weekly protests near the border to demand an end to a 12-year Israeli blockade on the Gaza Strip. Action from the Malaysia Cup coming up right after this. Stay tuned. Sports now. Football, the Malaysia Cup. 2 group matches were played on Sunday night. Petaling Jaya City FC beat UITM 1-0, while Selangor was held to a 1-1 draw with Police. In Shah Alam, it was the Red Giants who first took the lead, thanks to a strike by Sandro da Silva in the 52nd minute, before Police restored the parity 7 minutes later through Agzim Redzovic. Both teams then pushed on for the winner in the remaining period, but the scoreline remained 1-1 till the final whistle. Following the result, Selangor remains in second place with 5 points, while Police in third with 4 points after 3 matches. And that's it for Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at hundreds of contestants taking part in a massive Panjat Pinang contest. That's a greasy pole climbing competition at the Carnival Beach in northern Jakarta. The event was held as part of the celebration of Indonesia's 74th anniversary of independence. I'm Raymond Goh. Have a productive week ahead.